Yeah.
It's an Oakdale thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So then when we come up here, we'll take a picture with this.
Okay.
So what's going to happen? Come here. Where's Colleen? Colleen. So Colleen said what you're going to do is you're going to call them up here. You've seen us do this before, right?
All right. Does she have the roster still?
Yeah.
And I know I have the suit on, but something felt off. Stampy's #1 photographer.
Hey, it's right up there. The camera's right up there.
Huh?
My camera's right up there. I saw the agenda. I called the city manager. I called Brian. I go, Brian, I'm just to let you know, I'm taking a good picture. What do you mean? I go, there's nobody else taking a picture of Stampede.
No.
You have no talent. Love it.
I would look and then in the mirror I would see all the way forward. Because then you look at them all the way to the back. I know, I know where you're going. I didn't do it.
I hate this. No, you're gonna love it. I promise you. What do I need? I don't know what to say.
You ready for this?
Oh, for which part? For the pizza or for the bus trip?
Where's Colleen? You ready? We're running on Christopher's time today. Hey, finally I get you. Hey, 14 minutes. All right, here we go. All right, good evening. The time being 7 p.m., I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
I'm here.
Councilmember Patassi,
Here.
Councilmember Kettering,
Here.
and Mayor Barrios.
Here, so please note all four of us are here this evening. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation provided by Clifton Curry of Mountain View Church. I Good evening.
Fuller house than usual, huh?
Yes, yes.
Lord, we are grateful for our community. We all love Oakdale, so we're thankful for the people that serve to make it the awesome place that it is for families, for kids. Thank you for the coaches that I know volunteer lots of hours to invest in these young people, and so we're thankful for them and the parents. For the people up here that serve and try to serve faithfully to make our community safe, to guide us. So we pray for wisdom and direction on our community. God, we are thankful for Oakdale, and help us to just live here as good citizens and serve and treat others well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. All right, so item number 5. I would like to have Coach Mike Ginger come up to the mic, please. Mike, Portuguese Santa. So this evening, we have the honor of recognizing the 2024 Oakdale Stampede JV team, SinCal Super Bowl champions. So I would love Coach Ginger to give us some highlights, talk a little bit about your journey with these teams, and let's go from there.
Well, to be honest, the season started out, I looked at these kids that I had. I've been coaching Stampede football. This is my 15th season. The kids started off slow, I thought, but it wasn't the kids. After week 5, we were 2-3, not looking good. Coaches got together, and it was a coaching issue. We had personnel changes that we had to make, and from that point on, never lost a game again. Kids worked hard, as Oakdale kids do. They followed everything we taught them and worked out as planned. When they didn't follow through, they saw what happened.
Yeah.
But this community, it chokes me up a little because Oakdale, I grew up in Santa Clara, California, in the Bay. But man, what a place to raise your kids. This community comes together like no other. And it's all about the kids, their sports, their school. And no other place in the world I'd rather raise my kids than right here in Oakdale. Players, can you tell me what Coach Ginger says at the end of every practice?
That makes a statement right there, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, student athletes is all I want. First word is student. I need that first before you become an athlete. That's a rule that they all know goes, how I stand on that. And when we had issues in school, even Coach's son, you sit out part of the game, if not the whole game, and you learn a lesson. So the kids understand. They think I'm bluffing them at the beginning of the season. I know all your teachers. I've been coaching 15 years. If I get a call, I don't have to play you, but I will play you if you're a student athlete. So that's it.
Thank you very much. So on behalf of the Oakdale City Council, I'd like to thank you for your drive and dedication to supporting our kids in our community. I know there's a lot of kids out there, even the cheerleaders. I mean, it's really, really amazing the program that you guys have and the dedication that you have. So what we'd like to do is present a certificate to each one of the players, and we just want to say congratulations on winning the Super Bowl. I am a Raider fan, so I never get that kind of congratulations. So how proud am I to see the red and gold, the Oakdale Stampede win a Super Bowl. So, and I do appreciate you giving me the trophy tonight to keep in my office. That's really cool. I do thank you for that, and I'm really excited and honored to have that. So we just want to say congratulations to the coaches, the parents, the kids, and the families, and of course our community as a whole. So what we'll do is Coach Mike will call your name. Our city council will go down there to congratulate you. Coach Mike will call your name. We'll hand you a certificate, give you a handshake or a hug. We will all come around here, and then we'll take a nice big group picture with your trophy. Sound good? All right, let's do it.
And if we could hold all applause until after the certificates are presented. Thank you.
I was supposed to mention that. That's okay. You just put them to the side. And Christopher, just announce their name, and then Christopher will help you with that.
Sure, you hand them off.
Yeah, I'll hand it. Yeah.
Number 0, Carson Merritt. Not here. Number 1, Dominic Fairfield, our quarterback. Not here. Number 2, Liam Ginger. Zoran Puyo. Not here. Roman Rivera. Number 5. Number 6, Easton Harmon. He's not here either. Micah Modesto. Not here. Levi Roach. Not here. This is one of the kids we made personnel change. Never played football in his life. My son, defensive coordinator, saw something in him I didn't. Started at outside linebacker. Number 10, Jackson Quimby. Our tailback, number 11, Josiah Johnson. Not here. Easton Bellington. I know you're here. The names that got called off, please come up. Hey, if you got your certificate, come up here. Julian Becerra. Jax Petchman. Cole McConnell. Isaiah LaCourte. Trey Williamson. This guy broke his wrist and came back and funneled through. Blake Olivia, the beast. Alexander Gonzalez, a.k.a. AG. Jace Sencom. Charles Best. Easton Gillespie. Azariah Curry. Levi Fairfield is not here. Logan Long, not here. Pearson King. John Lopez. Justin Glaze, another first-year player that started. All right, buddy. Smallest guy on the team started middle linebacker. That's Carson Davis. Joseph Derby. Oh, started both ways. Braden Wagner. Biggest kid on the team. Oh, second to the biggest. Andrew Madrid. Jace Buchanan. Britton Moniz. Dexter Bayless. That's the biggest one on the team. Yeah, he is. Crew's a little bit smaller. Crew Paw. Yeah. Gavin Wright. Caleb Ashby. Nathan Nicholson. Hayden Lutz. Lutz is here. Jackson Larrabee. Bradley Delgado. Cade Skifter, a.k.a. Skittles. Cade Tolip. Timmy Baum. Oh, he actually is the smallest guy on the team. He's not here tonight.
See, I've always been the shortest on any team.
No, this one's really, really small. Eli White. Ellie White. Oh, that's cheer? You want to read off the cheer names since you're more familiar?
I can. Would you like?
Yes, please. I don't know any of the cheer names.
Oh, you stepped in a few times. Oh gosh.
Not a cheer coach, are you kidding me?
I'm not. I'm the secretary. Adeline Walzak, London Waitley, Isabel Vailbaum, Ava Vaughn, Emma Stidham, Aubrey Salpino, Bailey Roberts, Emily Rios, Angelique Rios, Scarlett Rich, Bryn Cuero, Nina Perez, Kelsey Navarro, Naomi Modesto, Sophie Mangone Davis, Henley Lopez, Janelle Leval, Kate Neese, Jocelyn Jaguari, Gayla Jimenez, Arabella Jara, Cambria Hurtado, Georgia Higgins. How many Super Bowls have you been to?
Nice. Alright.
Danny Lynn Harridge, Sierra Halam, Melody Graybill, Michaela Garcia, Jaylyn Frost, Emma French, Frida Felix, Jordan Farkas, Layla Duberg, Gigi Diaz, Bonnie Dack, Arabella Cummins, Riley Cox, Caitlin Canterbury, Nevaeh Candelaria, Olivia Boss Tavares, and Abby Arlen.
Alright. So you're gonna take. Alright, so kids, come on up here. Kids kind of around the middle. Everybody get in.
I'm the social media person.
Everybody in.
She says she's a social media person.
Come on in. Everybody both sides, line them up.
Georgia, up front.
You're not gonna get in. Okay, everybody, Stampede, can you? Where's the first? Right here.
And our number one photographer. Hey, front row, take a knee.
Can you see everybody, Jeff? Now everybody hold the number one. Ready?
You got an attachment for that?
All right, now number one.
Number one.
All right, good job. Congratulations. Here,
I
right.
am official bunny ears.
All right, thank you for this. Thank you, guys.
Hey, we won it for Oakdale, so.
Yep, I got it. I got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, you run bumptious kids.
All right, so let's give one more round of applause for the Oakdale Stampede.
Love seeing you up there, Jeff.
Cool. All right. Yeah, mine too. Thank you, guys. Congratulations. All right, so next item on the city council agenda is reporting out of closed session, and we gave direction to staff. Item number 7, public comments. Now is the time for public comment. If you have a public comment, please come up to the mic. You will have 3 minutes. Please state your name. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. City council consent agenda. Would a council member like to pull, discuss an item? Or this is a, we need a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consent agenda tonight.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Kettering,
Yes.
Councilmember Patassi,
Yes.
and Mayor Barrios.
Yes, this item passes 4-0. Thank you, Colleen. Next up is city manager's report, presentation of upcoming capital improvement projects.
Great, thank you, Mayor and members of the council. We have a brief report just to kind of highlight some of the capital improvement projects that we have planned for 2025. And to provide you with that presentation is our Public Services Director, Jeff Gravel.
Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. If those that are not aware, the Capital Improvement Program is a list of prioritized projects. And they refer to, and some of the data that we collect, mostly from the city's utility master plans, street master plan, and there are other various forms of data that we collect to come up with this list. Some of it has to do with really a squeaky wheel, if it makes sense, but it's all taken into consideration when this list is put together. Staff's currently updating the capital improvement program. We plan to bring this plan back to the City Council sometime this spring, 2025. And in the meantime, what we've provided is a list of projects that we're planning to not only have been approved and are to start, but also that have been completed, as well as projects that will start sometime in the 24-25 fiscal year or 25-26 fiscal year. So you may be familiar with this project. This is referred to as the Southwest Downtown ATP Safe Routes to School project. Generally speaking, it's a pavement rehab project. Also takes into consideration utility improvements. And what we mean by that is curb gutter, sidewalk in locations, all pavement rehab, all wet utilities that the city's responsible for. We are also in contact with PG&E to make sure they come in under the umbrella of the project so they can make any improvements that they need to make during the course of construction. This project was approved by council on November 18th, and construction is to begin sometime in, I believe, mid-February of this year. This is just a sample of a couple streets in that neighborhood, and I should back up that the neighborhood, this is probably one of the most ambitious street projects that the city's undertaken. We're pretty proud of it. We've saved up for being able to do this project. Part of the funding is through a grant that we received, about $1 million or just under $1 million, and then other forms of funding. That was explained during the course of approval, City Council on the 18th of November.
And this will be a big boost to that
It'll
entire neighborhood.
transform the neighborhood completely.
And those pictures are probably the best pictures from that neighborhood too.
Yeah, this is a smaller project. We have a couple of these that we'd like to pursue that will be coming back to City Council to award a contract. This is North 7th Avenue. This is 7th Avenue. It's a dead-end street. It's just north and intersects D Street. It's been on the list for quite some time. It's in very poor shape. This is standing on D Street looking north. It's a quilt work of patches. One of the unique things about this is that it doesn't have any wet utilities, so it's a pavement rehab project. There are alleys on both sides, and the utilities are in the alleys. This is East Street Improvement Plan. This is and will include mostly beautification items, as well as irrigation and electrical at various locations, curb gutter sidewalk improvements, street light improvements, bollard placements, more specifically at the intersection of First and East Street. And we are also looking into the possibility of including the arch, which I think some of you may have seen during the early design configurations on the east or on the Third Avenue project. So we're trying to, we'd like to bring this back, but we're looking into what that cost would be and if it makes sense at this time
So Adam,
to move
before you,
forward.
before you move on, because we can't zoom in on these maps, where does this start and where does this end?
This starts at Yosemite
Okay,
on East Street and goes west to First Avenue. The arch location, at least right now, the arch location would be located in the area that we talked about before, but more specifically just east of the driveway that goes into the parking lot behind Bistro. This is also a pavement rehab project. It's on Albers. It's it's on Albers from Warnerville to the south city limit line. This picture is just looking, the lighting wasn't very good, so I had to go south and look north. But this is looking north on Albers. This has come up a few times in the past. We're quite fortunate with this project. We were working with the county about 3.5 years ago, wanting to do a joint venture. As you can see, the newer pavement closer to where I took the picture, that's the county. Their project ended there. Once upon a time, we were going to be a part of their project. The cost was just under $1 million. We chose to hold off and use that $1 million, Measure L money somewhere else, and that became part of the Olive Street project. We were fortunate enough shortly thereafter to find an opportunity for a grant. We pursued the grant and applied for it, and we were awarded the grant. The grant was just under $1 million. I believe it was just over $900,000. So it's going to pay for 95% of the project. Once we get we're going through the environmental process with the state and federal government, and once that's complete, then we'll go out to bid and then return to council for approval and awarding a contract. We're looking at wanting to do that. We'll probably come back to council in the spring and have it be a summer project. Gilbert Avenue. This is Gilbert Avenue between G Street and J. This has been on a list for quite some time. This is a complete rehabilitation project as well as wet utilities. We also have a storm drain improvement component to this project. The community to the east of the high school really needs some better storm drain capacity and facilities. And we have a plan that's included in this project to help out with that problem that we currently are dealing with. We're looking at wanting to do this in 25, 26, so probably sometime we'll be returning back to council sometime after July 1 of this year.
I have a question on this one. I've noticed when I'm dropping my son off at high school, there's a lot of high school kids that park on that road behind the high school. In the design, are you guys thought of some sort of safe parking or something for the students that are taking up that street by chance?
I don't.
There's just a lot of a lot of kids they don't use the crosswalks. Obviously, they just go wherever. But the amount of parking and blind kids jumping out into the road street.
That'd probably be something that we could look at in terms of, either red curbing or signing, people away from the corners, so the sight lines are a little better. But in terms of additional parking, I don't know if that's what you were asking, but additional parking, that's.
Delineated parking, sorry, that was loud. Delineated parking or some sort of, driver expectancy awareness, just ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you bringing that up. I've noticed the same thing. But that's something that we can work with our engineer to see if, I mean, much like maybe what we've done at Ackley Circle, where you have the parking spaces lined out, and I think some other signage directing folks to the crosswalks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Third Avenue. This is Third Avenue from F to G. This is a rehabilitation project. It's going to be kind of I guess you could say, a lighter version of Third Avenue, which is on, as you can see in this picture, on the other side of, or on the north side of F Street. We're looking at, we don't have all the design components as of yet, but what we're envisioning is complete pavement rehab. Perhaps it'll be pavers. Kind of hoping that we can go in that direction. There'll be some sidewalk. We have some challenges on the west side because of some of the elevations of the old buildings. Somewhat challenging. We have the same condition over on the other side of F Street on the project that we completed a couple of years, or a year or so ago. So faced with some of the same challenges. We're not going to have the sawtooth configuration of the sidewalk or the curb line. We'll avoid that, but everything else will be pretty much the same in terms of its look. Slurry Seal 6 and 7, this is quite a large area, and I was looking at it again today, and it's very large. What it consists of is the Vineyards community, as well as Crane from the southern city limit line to Pontiac, I believe, and then J Street from Crane to Ash, and then like I said, the Vineyards community, and then there's an area which is just east of the Vineyards community to Ash. It's kind of an older neighborhood. That includes Odessa. Odessa has some pavement challenges that we're going to be looking at. And the next project in line, that's kind of the area in green that I'm talking about, as well as the red along Crane and J Street. Odessa has some areas that looks like this. What we'd like to do, and we have a project that's going to run right in front of in terms of time, we're going to have a project run in front of the Slurry Seal project, so we can get in there and make these pavement corrections, and then come back right after it, say in the late summer, fall, and Slurry Seal everything within the project area, so that it's we have a fresh new surface throughout that quadrant of the city. So looking forward to that. Expect some phone calls from people, because it is going to be a little bit disruptive, but I think the end result is going to be really quite something. Between this and the southwest downtown area, I mean, these are some big areas that we're knocking out this year. The G Street and pedestrian pavement project. This is G Street between 4th Avenue and East Avenue. I believe it was in November, there was an opportunity to pursue a grant, and we submitted our grant application with all the materials associated with that application, and we got a verbal of approval. So one of the catches was we had to, at least in an email, obligate ourselves that we are interested in pursuing this and want to pursue it during sometime during the spring. So this is all talk, but some of the other cities did not participate because of the fast track. We kind of jumped in both feet, and it's looking very good. We don't have a solid confirmation on approval of the grant, but we are going through the environmental process that is also associated with the grant application. So it's looking good. What it includes is a pavement rehabilitation component. There are some utilities, and then striping, which will connect. It's kind of one of the last blocks of G Street that is unimproved, you know, with the other sections of G Street that have been approved in the last 5 years. So it's one of the remaining spots that we need to finish up.
And if I could just add on this, One of our goals is always to have almost shovel-ready projects so that we can have a quick turnaround, so we can be more competitive than some of our other neighbors. And, we were, our engineering firm, MCR, and then Jeff and his team do a phenomenal job of trying to have the queue ready to go so that we can jump on the funds as they're available. We were the first city in the county to build a Measure L project. We just want to be able to try to bring as many funds as we can, and so I appreciate Jeff and his team for always being ready.
Cedar Place. I don't know if you've had the pleasure of driving down Cedar Place, but it is, it intersects with Stanislaus. It's just north and parallel to West F Street. It's in very bad shape. It's to a point where it's not even worth pothole repairs or any kind of attempt to repair. It's even difficult to street sweep. It's so bad.
Because we literally sweep up the street. I mean, so.
It's only about 500 feet long, 400 to 500 feet long.
That goes between school and
Stanislaus,
right? That
yeah.
Little chunk.
Little section there. So we have a plan. We're completing those plans, and we'll probably return to council sometime in the spring to award a contract. It does include utility upgrades. Nothing has been done on this street for probably decades, except for some patch paving that we've attempted to do. Brandon Park improvements. We had a neighborhood meeting on December 18th to discuss some of the things that we're planning for Brandon Park. One in particular is the current basketball skate park slab location. We'd like to enhance that even further. We currently have a full court basketball court there. We'd like to modify that so that we have a smaller or shorter full court basketball court and a futsal court, which could also double as a half court basketball court, and then light it, and then have an appropriate sports surface on that, in that court surface, or in that court area. Future phases would include a playground. You could see, the graphic's not real clear, but kind of the upper left-hand corner, there's a playground area.
I'm sorry.
Playground area. The existing half court would stay there, but we would improve the surface. And there's some electrical modifications that we need to make so that we can put some lighting in the park, and then a pathway around the perimeters of kind of the two sections of the park, and then path lighting as well. So the first phase we'd like to bring to the council this spring is the court surface, and the lighting for the court. We have a well project that's currently underway. Talked to council about preparing an offer to the Saddle Club. As we begin to look at this and talk about it internally more, we thought it may be appropriate to increase the area of the offer. It may not be with the initial offer, but it may be in some form we can tie up at least the additional area so that we have access to additional ground if we need room to filter or treat water as needed, as required by the state. Currently, that is not the case, and we'll know more when we put in a test well. We're planning on doing that probably sometime in the spring, which means we'll punch a hole in the ground basically and test the water and how much water comes out of it and what its quality is, and then go from there. And we'll get some direction from the state in terms of applying for that application so that we can begin to produce water to the public with that well. So right now, what we're doing is we're looking at the possibility of what is our additional need looking into the future. Something that's unique about this location is that this well is not adjacent to a park. So that's kind of our concern. It's not a concern, but I guess it's a little more challenging because we don't own the property. So we'd like to have some level of control or opportunity if the need arises to have to filter or store water at that location. This is Gilbert Park, and also the Gilbert Park rehab includes a well 12, and the well 12 is quite dark. But well 12 is a replacement of well 3. Well 3 is located up near the water tank there in Birchall Hills. That well 3 was constructed in 1947. It's currently not being used. So the plan has always been and has been in our master plan to replace well 3. And this is we think, a preferred location. There's a major trunk line in C Street that we'd like to tap into, and is a great location to be able to feed our water system. And that's kind of currently what we're looking at. We've supplied initial applications to the state for having a well location here, and at the same time, this was included in the discussion in the community meeting on December 18th. We had a few people show up, but we just wanted to make sure that they knew that there's some good things that are happening at the park. The park improvements include a bathroom, a relocated half-court basketball court, pathway, and also, not on this graphic, but there is room for perhaps an additional court surface. This graphic shows 2, but it would really, at this time, it would only be 1 additional court surface, which would include lighting, of course, with the other 2 courts. This is something that we'd like to also prepare a test well application, and we'll be returning to council for awarding that contract probably in the spring as well.
Since you're on the parks, it just popped in my head. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people since baseball signups are coming up. Has the city talked about adding any more baseball fields to some of these parks with the large open fields? Has that been talked about or brought up?
Yeah, I mean, so that's something that we're aware of in our interactions with the sports groups. I mean, we have fabulous youth sports organizations that really do a wonderful job for our community. Like, for example, with the sports, the Gregor Sports Park, the reason why the format was selected was in conjunction with conversations that we had with OBSA and with Oakdale Soccer Club. And so that enables us to give more priority for baseball at Teal Davis and move some of the soccer and that sort of thing. More than likely, we'll see that in future parks. We have an arrangement where we're working with Flourshine Homes, which is the home builder on the west side of town, right off of Crane, that they will be making significant improvements to Fish Park to improve those fields. But as far as new ones, we don't really have that on the horizon, mainly because we don't have the space. Like, for example, at Gilbert Park, we have space for the 1 field. Fair Oaks Park, it's not big enough. When we look at, we're trying to enhance Kerr Park. We're working on a lighting plan to get at least the 1 field with lights, but also to bring power back, because years and years ago, the copper was stolen, but we want to get lights at the other 2 fields, which then extends the amount of time they have to use them. So we've had extensive conversations, but we don't have a solid, definitive plan yet. But it's really difficult because these sports leagues are becoming more and more popular. The enrollment is growing, and so how do we accommodate? So we're going to have to continue to prepare for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
The wastewater treatment plant aeration pond dredging project. You may recall a contract was awarded to a contractor to dredge the 2 aeration ponds out at the treatment plant. The photo there on your left, or I should say on my left, your right, depending on what you're looking at. The pond photograph in the center of the pond is a flotation device that is really I was going to explain, it's a vacuum, and it's more or less of a vacuum. There's a tube that is connected to that flotation device. It's controlled by cables, and it sweeps back and forth across the bottom. And the tube is down at the bottom of the pond, and it sucks up sludge and moves it over to the other photograph, which is and pushes the sludge into these two the two boxes, or semi-box trailer they look like, but inside they are two centrifuges. And the centrifuges were injected with a polymer solution that helps wick water away from the sludge. The sludge then drops into a conveyor, and then drops onto the larger conveyor, and then into a truck. I was looking for a photo to kind of show the whole process, but it went on for approximately 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and we're able to pull out 1,700 tons of sludge, and out of those two ponds, which equates to about 90 semi-trailer trucks. I would say it's deemed successful. The plant is returning back to its normal operating condition. There was some concern about that because it's never dropped off so much, but we're seeing it come back quite quickly. So all in all, it's working well, and our capacity is much greater than it was, say, prior to the dredging project.
Jeff, can you talk a little bit about that, like what dropped off? Because this is kind of a scientific situation. You have to have certain
pH.
bugs in the system to consume the waste and all that stuff. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so during the process of dredging and removing the water and treating the water, and then the water then returning back to the ponds, the bugs, or the microorganisms that consume or break down the sludge are removed as well, and they die off. And what happens is then you have a body of water that receives the influent from the city, and there's nothing to digest that influent. So during the course of completing the dredging project, we reach out to other communities, other treatment plants, and they sell off, and it's pretty cheap, but they sell sludge or bugs that are active. We also reached out to Last Call, and they provided us with hops and some of the ingredients that are spent in their process of brewing beer. And that acted as some initial food for the bugs. So the bugs begin to populate. Sludge is reintroduced into the ponds, and it starts a cycle of consuming and disposing of sludge. So that's kind of where we're at now. We're at the tail end of that whole process. And it was kind of a community effort, I guess you could say, with Last Call being involved and other communities, supplying some of the bugs that consume and break down sludge in these treatment plants. So it was kind of something that I not aware of, or I was aware of but not really involved with, and so it appears to be successful.
How often do you have to do something like this, where they dredge and clean it out?
Well, we're gonna put on a calendar 5 to 7 years, not 5 to 15 years. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, we'll try to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Grabel?
I do have just one, the South 3rd Avenue. It's got herringbone parking now. We're going to leave that diagonal herringbone parking as is, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's it.
Any other questions?
Just one overall one is, and you'd mentioned, we're gonna get phone calls when these road projects start. Is there a priority for road closures versus rerouting and that? I mean, I've never been involved with this. This is gonna be my first one, so I'm curious on what the city's plan is as part of the bid process, or anything to looking at rerouting, because some of the roads that are being paved are very well traveled. Like Jared said, the one behind the high school, that is a speedway a couple times a day.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what is the city's general idea and or plan in looking at either notifying residents or being part of the bid process about rerouting or closing roads?
So kind of all of the above. So, yeah, there's a process. In fact, we've been notifying residents of the Southwest Downtown project. The first series of letters went out, I believe, 2 to 3 weeks ago, just giving them a heads up. There's another series of letters that are going to go out here shortly, and just giving more information about the schedule. Signs will begin to go up. The contractor, based on the phasing of the project, they will be submitting a traffic control plan, which is subject to our review. We share that with fire and police and the school district, and in fact, they've been in the loop with this project on the initial contacts regarding the course of the project. So, to answer your question, yeah, part of it is the responsibility of the contractor to share and put together their traffic control plan. And usually there's a contractor, or they will sub out that work to somebody who specializes in that type of work. And they'll submit that to us for review and approval. Even with all of that, especially we're trying to reach out a little more with slurry seal projects. They can be disruptive because of how fast they go down, and it's hard to phase those because of how quick, you know, that action or that activity occurs. So there are some preemptive noticing that we will place out. You know, for what it's worth, you know, we'll try to a certain degree, control their expectations, you know, and what they're going to experience. It's going to get worse before it gets better, just to be honest. But we'll do everything that we can to accommodate them.
And one thing I would add, council member, is especially when we think of Gilbert Avenue, is we would try to limit the construction period to the summer months. You know, so May, whatever, to be. I mean, it'll be a race, and the goal would be, even if we're not done, at least it's not a dirt patch. You know, so that we did that with G Street.
We did.
And so that's a goal that we have. So ideally, that's what we'll shoot for.
Any other questions, comments? Yep, Bianca, come on up. And thank you for helping today at our downtown cleanup, the Christmas event. We appreciate it very much.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Bianca from Oaktown. When you say utility upgrades, is that water, MID, PG&E, sewer, internet, phone, like AT&T phone, the hardwire phone?
Yeah, when we perform utility upgrades, it'll be the wet utilities, so it'll be sewer and water. But we invite other utilities such as PG&E, AT&T if they're underground. A lot of times they're overhead, and for them to participate as well.
Okay, so that was my question. So the overhead poles then, those would be left. It would be up to those companies to either join in or not join in? And what encourages them to join in?
Just the street being closed, being under construction. If their plan is to put anything underground, this would be the time to do it.
Do they usually?
You know, sometimes.
And does that have anything to do with MID and PG&E? Is it possible to, like, if an MID wanted to come in and take over an area from PG&E?
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not going there? Okay.
I'm not sure how that works.
Okay, and is all of Oakdale on well water?
Yes.
Okay. And then another question, when you talk about lightings in the park, are they going to be solar, or are they paid for by the city
Yeah.
out of the general fund?
Yeah.
They'll be paid for by the city. Mm-hmm.
So then the parks that are like in the newer areas, like they're paid for by the homeowners, but these will be paid for by our city taxes also?
That's correct.
Outside of the landscape lighting districts, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any council member have an item?
Just wanted to say, like you just did, thanks to all the people that came out and helped clean up the parks this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? All right, so career fair will be January 15th, Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. at the community center. We'll have over 40 employers, and I assume there'll be over 200 job seekers like there's been the past few times. So January 15th, 3 to 5 at the community center. Mayor's State of the City, Wednesday, January 22nd, 11:30 to 1:30 at the community center. And you can get tickets at the oakdalecachamber.org. And like Mayor Pro Tem said, on behalf of Small Town Christmas Committee, we appreciate you guys coming out there today and cleaning everything up. We were in and out there within 2 hours. And we do look forward to next year and bigger and newer things coming up. So with that, have a great 2 weeks. We will see you right here Tuesday, January 21st. Oh,
Martin Luther King Monday.
okay, 7 p.m. Have a great 2 weeks. Meeting adjourned.